10 ways to make Halo Wars 2 good. Number 10. In my opinion, this is the number one most important thing that they cannot fuck up, like at all. I mean, just have a look at games like COD and Halo. They've kept the base gameplay the same throughout all the iterations. With COD, we saw a backlash when they tried to change gameplay fluidity by adding jetpacks. Or with Halo, when Halo 4 tried to introduce the class system with perks, similar to Call of Duty, and that received a lot of criticism. While both series have received complaints of becoming formulaic shooters, it certainly seems to turn out better when you keep the core mechanics the same throughout the sequels. You may then be saying, well Sandman, what exactly makes Halo Wars gameplay so good, and what should be kept the same? I'm glad you asked. Well, for a start, having the distinct gameplay differences between the two races was very important. It meant they could play two different roles with one race not completely dominating the other. While the Covenant had a very clear advantage in the early game in terms of the ability to rush, it transitioned very well into the UNSC's advantage as the game progressed. Their Tech 4 troops clearly had an advantage over their Calvi counterparts. Number 9. This sort of follows on from the previous point. Not only should it keep the core mechanics of the original, but it needs to add things that are worthy of a sequel and not a glorified DLC. So this could come in the form of new troops, races, game types, maps, etc. If you want to see a more in-depth look at what they could add, then check out these two videos on what I want to see added into the sequel. Number 8. For the campaign, they should definitely continue using the blur cinematics from the first game. When the game first came out, I swear they were the best cinematics in terms of their graphics I had ever seen. They also did the cinematics for Halo 2 Anniversary. So I see no reason not to keep blur on for the sequel. Just please, a little less cringe this time. Thank you. Number 7. I touched on this a little bit in a previous video about how I want the campaign to be taken a little more seriously. That way we get more invested in the characters. So this could then come in the form of missions where glassing takes place. Also, they could allow for the campaign to be played from both sides of the war, with the Flood as a mutual threat for both sides. Number 6. What I mean by this is to introduce functionality into the game which benefits the hardcore players. This could come in the form of a separate leaderboard, a league type lobby system, and also certain map rotations and rules. On top of this, a spectator mode would be an awesome addition to complement a league game type. Number 5. Which game mode? Well, of course I'm talking about the most popular as determined by population, and that is 3v3 standard. In the original game, it was so poorly developed with a meager 4 maps. So this time around, I want more maps with more variety in their design. On top of that, I want a 4v4 and a 5v5 game mode. That is all that really needs to happen, I think. Also, I think it goes without saying that the teams need to be more balanced this time around. Number 4. While I don't mind the early game being restrictive in the strategies that work, I do think there should be more variety. A more forgiving selection of strategies to choose from in the beginning would be a welcome change. Because in the start of the game, there really only was the Hogs for UNSC and a leader with infantry for the Covey. Number 3. To ensure this game has a longer life than the original, I believe this is essential. This would come in the form of map creation for both Xbox and PC. Obviously the PC would have a more fleshed out version, but hopefully both platforms could download each other's too. I also think the addition of a community section would increase the longevity of the game. What do I mean by this? Well, maybe a place to share replays, similar to Clash Royale, perhaps a creator spotlight for YouTubers where a video is put on the front page. These kinds of things would encourage people to participate. Number 2. So for people trying to climb the ladder, it can be very annoying when one or more teammates leave. This can be for a number of reasons, i.e. unfair teams or lagging out. So to combat this, if a team member leaves within the first 5 minutes, then that game will not affect your true skill. I'm not sure it's the best method, but it certainly would help this headache of an issue. Of course, it comes with the risk that you might actually win the game, and it not counting either. Also, in branching off from this, perhaps the resources of the teammate who left would then be evenly distributed between those who remain. Perhaps there should also be a probation period if you quit within the first few minutes of the game. Number 1. What I mean by this is that the controls need to become more complex to appeal to a wider audience. I will admit that the simplicity of the controls on Halo Wars was loved by many. I do believe that some new controls should be added to the schematic to entice new players, however. My personal request would be a custom group maker. In addition to that, I don't want the two platforms to be separated into two communities. Thus, I want crossplay to be a thing. One issue though, the computer users may have an unfair advantage because of the speed that the mouse provides. This would have to be balanced, I assume. Hey guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Halo Wars content. I have many more Halo Wars videos if you want to check them out. Also guys, please follow my Twitter account so that you know what's going on with my channel. Cheers guys.